I think I'm going to be too lazy to make actual videos if I worry about stylizing them and making them about 10 minutes long and making them sound perfect. I think I'm simply going to take the next few videos and put them up raw. Reason why is because, number one, I almost feel like we're on borrowed time at this point. If I don't say something now, I don't know whether or not we're going to have a couple of months for me to say it. Not that it's likely that we're going to have nuclear war come after us. I'm not sure. Who knows? But I feel like if I don't say things now, they'll just sit inside of me and I won't know what I really felt about it. Second, I think I give myself an out every time I try to be perfect. So I'm going to say what I think. And if it's not exactly the way that I thought about a situation, then that's fine. You can let me know. Okay. I am exhausted. I am just absolutely exhausted. Emotionally. I've been on almost 20 job interviews. I've watched this country go in a spiral I can't describe accurately. And I don't know if I can be able to afford rent. I don't know if it's better for me to get rid of my Arabic name. I don't know if 50% of this country is likely more interested in whether or not I could pose a threat to them than the master's degree that I have, the bachelor's degree that I have. I don't know. It's almost September, you know? It's barely been 8 months of this year. And I really thought that 2016 would be the worst of it. I thought that that would be as disappointing a display of humanity that I could ever imagine. I think I'm more disappointed with the neglect that most people have toward society, the economy, our children, our infrastructure, all that. I think I'm more disappointed with the apathy of the majority of this country than the sheer idiocy of the previous year and the depression over multiple celebrity deaths every week and confusion and just it's so easy for me to write off this species. So easy. Just because I enjoy things about living doesn't mean that they need to keep going. And I know that sounds really dark, but I don't mean it to be. I mean that in the most philosophical way. I'm saying I can't take the lens with which I see the world and say, okay, this is the way that I think people should live, and this is the way I think people should approach things and understand reality. And if they don't, then, oh, my life is really difficult. I can't do that. There are going to be some hard choices. If the stuff that's gone on just within the last 4 months isn't enough to convince the supporters of Trump to say, you know, this might have been a bad idea, then I don't know what to do. This is some scary Manchurian candidate kind of stuff. You guys are still, there's still 33% of you people out there who think that this was a good idea. I don't even care about fake news. I don't care if you're seeing stuff on the news that you don't believe. That's fine. You don't have to believe everything that you see. But have you noticed this person? He doesn't care how bad of a leader he appears to you. He doesn't mind that you see every awful decision that comes out of him, the people who support him, his family members. They're not good at this. They're not even good at it in a sociopathic way. They are the most bumbling Dr. Strangelove weirdos I have ever seen in my life. And you guys are still supporting them. Because why? Because they're not Hillary? You know, maybe I'm being petty on this. I'm still hung up on the 50% of white women who thought that Trump was a good idea. I'm totally baffled by you. I know I ragged on middle class white women with the latte drinking feminist kind of stuff. I need to be clear. I'm not saying all white women don't care about brown people. I didn't mean it that way in that last video. I just meant to say in hyperbole that sometimes people get a little short-sighted in this country, and this is one of the ways that it happens. They're more interested in thinking about whether or not some woman makes 2 cents less on the dollar than a guy working in the next cubicle, rather than a woman who gets acid in her face because she wanted to read. You know, it's just things. The priorities are a little skewed, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm really confused about the 50% of white female voters who said, you know what? The openly and proudly misogynist, possibly racially devoid of any kind of credence candidate, the one who thinks that building a giant wall is a good idea when planes exist, and when, immigration and illegal crossing of the border is usually happening more with people from countries that aren't Mexico nowadays. By every measure, this guy, it might be a good idea instead of the 2 female candidates that we had. Yeah, 2 female candidates. I don't care if you didn't like Hillary. Okay, ladies, I don't mind that. I wasn't a giant fan of her, but I knew that one evil was worse than another. I mean, if you're going to pick the lesser 2 evils, you know who you're going to pick. Why not all of these wonderful white female feminists? Why not pick the other female candidate? Even if it was just a matter of selfishness. Even if it was just, hey, I don't like this white female candidate, I want the other smart white female candidate. You had 2 of them. You had Jill Stein. Even if you didn't want to vote for Hillary, at least that's taken away a vote from Trump. The obvious old white patriarchal, married 3 times, dude who wants to grab you by the junk. Just, didn't you think maybe you want to pick one of the other 3 options? But Gary Johnson, he did not know where Aleppo was. Neither did you, okay? I'm looking at you, newspaper that also didn't know and tried to make him look dumb and barely got it right yourself. I couldn't even spell Aleppo before I knew about this thing. I didn't know. I knew what Syria was. I knew what Assad's situation was. I knew what the rebels were doing. I understood the general pieces of that. But I'm not, an A+ in geography. Did I really expect that this guy who actually answered the question after the weirdly posed, what is Aleppo? What the hell is what is Aleppo? It's a city. What kind of question is that? Why didn't you just ask, what role do you think Aleppo's situation right now would have in the greater scheme of things with the Syrian conflict? That's a better question, and I rattled that off the top of my head. I just woke up an hour ago. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a politician. I'm not a geography major. I don't know everything about everything. But there's some stupid stuff happening. Anyway, my point is, Gary Johnson really wasn't worth your effort? I mean, even if you're a white female conservative and you had to pick between the white dude who's a patriarch and the white dude who's just some guy that wants to change things, I don't really care if he's not going to win. Wouldn't you want to make sure that that vote doesn't go to the other guy? The guy who you've clearly been against? I said, why? What is going on? And, okay, I should be clear. It's not the feminists. It's the radical, fringy SJW group that just wants to cause problems and everything. Because you guys didn't vote, or you guys didn't know what to do when November showed up. You know what I also found out? That was pretty disturbing in the last couple of months. Now, I don't know whether or not maybe they were just skewing these facts, but I've seen these in more than one source. So, if you want the source of these, I can go back and get them. But apparently, more Mexicans voted this time around, and maybe they meant Latino. Maybe they didn't actually mean Mexican. I don't know. Maybe they were... I hope this isn't the case. But Mexican-American voters, more of them voted for Trump than they voted for Romney. What? There should have been a 0% Mexican-American vote. Just based on principle. Even if he's just saying this crap, even if, even if Trump just said that stuff on the campaign trail to rally up the idiot base that just wants to go racism on everybody, even if that's the case, even if you believe that, you had another option. There should have been 8% of votes going straight over to Gary Johnson. Talking about, oh, you want a wall? So that the people who have descended from my ancestors, literally maybe 1-2 generations ago, can't get over without this giant wall that's going to bankrupt their country because you're going to make them pay for it. I'll vote for you anyway. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I don't care how many emails are found with Clinton. I don't care about your emails. I care about whether or not there's a nutcase that's going to be walking around in his boxers and in the Oval Office. This jackass O'Lantern just making life miserable for people all over the world. I'm not going to support this moron. I can't do it. Just on principle. I'm sorry if you're hearing tapping going on. I'm rattled. So you're going to hear some weird noises. I apologize. I know this is a long-ass video. I'm sorry. But this ain't getting monetized anyway. So I'm just going to say what I think. And hopefully somebody out there hears this and says, hey man, you're wrong. Hey BA, you don't know what you're talking about. Here's some ideas. North Korea, they're not going to bomb us. Well, I mean, it's not about what they do, people. You're missing the point. Okay? It's all the energy being wasted getting worried about some stuff we don't have to be while we have actual problems that don't get solved because he knows he's too stupid to figure this stuff out. Or maybe he's not stupid. Maybe he's just disinterested. Or maybe he just wants to make a point. I don't know. The guy is old and he doesn't have a whole lot of years left. And I don't mean that to be even offensive. If I was 70 years old, do you think I'd be running around trying desperately hard to save the world? If I didn't know a lot of things about the world, except for my one little corner of it? What the hell am I going to do about Uzbekistan? I'm 70 years old. I got a family. I got stuff going on. I got businesses. I'm being sued by everybody. I'm not going to save Uzbekistan. If there's a dossier on my desk that says Uzbekistan is going to sink into a giant sinkhole and, it's just going to disappear forever, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about that. I'm not going to act like I do. So that's why I'm not president. But you guys, you rallied around him. And now you see the fruits of that labor. You see exactly what is caused by that. You got fires popping up everywhere. What are you going to do about this? We don't know. None of us knows. So why the hell are you still supporting him? 1 out of 3 Americans, after all of this, refuse to say that he's not doing a good job. They just won't say it. They can't. Listen, you gave him 8 months almost. You get to the point where you just have to be honest about what you see. Maybe he'll be better later, but don't lie to yourself. Okay? You can't impeach somebody just because they have 0% approval rating. That's not an impeachable offense. But be honest. But we won't do that. We project this dishonesty onto other people. We say, oh, it's the fake news over there, or it's the right over here, it's the left over there, it's the SJWs over here, it's the alt-right over there, it's the Islamists, or it's the regular Muslims who don't say enough. Ooh, they need to be policing the people within their own, and it's just, there's always a thing, It's always some other group. That's the problem. You know what the problem is? We don't know what the hell we're doing. That's the problem, and we know it. The quicker that we admit that, the quicker we can say, well, then I don't know, can we get together and fix something? Oh, and I've been meaning to say this, but I didn't think that there was a video that was worthy of just making this one point for like a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to lump everything I've been thinking lately in this. John McCain. I don't understand why people got all up in arms about the two other female, the other Republicans that also voted the healthcare bill down. I think that all 3 of them did the right thing, and I'm glad that you want to support those 2 also. That's great. But there were a lot of people who said, "Oh, of course the white male gets the credit when these 2 women have been doing this all along." And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they did it before McCain did, but weren't all 3 of them supporting the first iteration of this bill? They saw the writing on the wall. They saw that this was a problem. And they didn't do their jobs. All 3 of them. McCain and these other 2. Why are you trying to give more credit to these 2 because they did things in the 10th hour and he did things in the 11th hour? Well, these 2 were the real heroes. No, none of these 3 are the heroes, okay? They should have done this shit 3 months ago, okay? This is overdue stuff. This is, I'm the cavalry and I'm going to fix this at the last possible second. I'm sorry, you don't get brownie points for showing up at the last possible moment and trying to make a difference. Okay? I'm fine if you want to support all 3 of them. I don't really agree, but I'm fine with that because I think they did the right thing finally. I don't know what magically zapped some conscience into their brains, but fine, I'm glad that they had it. But don't sit up there trying to put some feminist spin on this or some virtue signaling thing onto this. It's 3 people who should have figured this out before. When it was 20 million people without health care, maybe that should have been, the light bulb in their heads instead of, oh, this will affect women. Well, okay, but that's at best, that's like 10 million of the 20 million, okay? So you care about the half of the 20 million. So those other 10 million, apparently, because they're male, and they also are going to die without health care, they don't matter. But these 20, the half of them, they matter. Okay, I got you. You sure you don't want to help us with the women getting acid in their face because they want to drive a car? You sure you don't want it? You don't want to help me? Still? Don't want... Okay, that's fine. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm petty. I'm going to bring that up again. I'm sorry. Be consistent, okay? I care about the women, or I care about the minorities, or I care about the LGBT community, or I care about people who are old. I care about people who are fat. I care about people who are skinny. I care about people who are short. You know, I don't care what you care about, okay? Care about whatever you want. That's all good. Do your thing. But be consistent, people. I'm an intersectional social justice person. I'm a patriot that cares about everybody in this country. I'm a this. I identify as somebody who's really good. I don't care how you identify. Identify as whatever you want, but do the thing you said you were going to try to do. I thought you were supposed to represent the American people. I didn't know that you were dividing us all into little groups and care about some of us more than others. I didn't realize that was your job. I thought you were supposed to represent as many of the people who supported you as possible, and you don't do it. Because we've gotten into these weird, selfish little crazy camps who don't see the forest for the trees. It's the movie Idiocy come to life. And I know I'm not the first person said. I'm probably the 800 billionth person or 800 billionth post about this. Because clearly there's not 800 billion people. But, you know, I can't help but say it. We're slipping down into that hole, man. This is it. Man, woman, other kin, I don't care. Again, I'm sorry that this video is just me rattling off, but if I don't, it's going to be sitting in me until I have the opportunity and the time when I'm not trying to work and scrimp and save, go to my 21st goddamn interview. Really, people? None of you want me to work for you? Okay. Well, I'm about to go and make some pocket change as a musician tonight. Pay the other half of my rent that I should have paid in the first. So yeah, people. I'm sorry for the haphazardness of this video, or audio. I'll probably never make a video. I wanted to make videos where maybe the avatar that you're seeing right now has a little mouth that moves or something, like, you know, like what you see on some of these sites, but I don't have the time. I might never make another video. I don't know. Given how things are, I might not have a country to make a video in which, you know, in which people can actually see it. But I shouldn't be facetious about that. I'm just gonna cut this. I'm sorry. Take care, people. Take a whole lot of care while we still got a chance. I'll see you.